This is part 2 of The Other Worldview. Now, by way of brief review, in part 1, I stated that the culture wars that began in the 1960s between the Judeo-Christian and secular worldviews were effectively over by the second decade of the 21st century, and secularism won. By the standards of what define religion, secularism is one. It's a non-theistic religion for sure, but a religion nonetheless. It's a belief system that explains where we came from, why we're here, and where we're going. It answers the supreme question, who am I? It endeavors to be the answer to everything, making sense of all that is. I repeat what I said in part 1 to pick up the line of thought. The consequences of secularism are dramatic. Human beings are no longer understood as image bearers of God whose potential is realized in a unique, individual, divinely ordained mission. Rather, secularists regard humans as cosmic dust that by pure chance congealed into something that was self-aware for the universal equivalent of the blink of an eye. The animal called human pops into existence, raises a defiant fist to an empty sky, and then is gone. Sound and fury signifying nothing. When the Judeo-Christian worldview informed the Western mind, there was a dignity attached to what it means to be human, because people weren't understood as merely meat sacks of bone and viscera. They were image bearers of God whose great potential was to have an eternally significant relationship with Him. There was a plan and a purpose for each individual. The goal in life was to achieve that purpose. That's what brought meaning to life and attached a glorious dignity to all, regardless of their age or ethnicity, their gender, their station. Happiness was understood as a reward for settling into that purpose, evidence that one had achieved at least something of what they were created for. But secularism threw all that over, leaving people with nothing but the pursuit of happiness itself. Instead of morality being a fixed set of rules based on the nature and character of a good God, it became relative to whatever worked in securing the price of happiness. Pragmatism ruled the day. If it works at making me happy, it's good. If it brings frustration, it's bad. Why we see more and more mass shootings isn't the mystery that the pundits want to make it out to be. Nor is it a problem of too many guns. Yes, there are a lot of guns out there, but that's not the problem. There were times in our national past when the per capita gun rate was little different than today, but mass shootings were unheard of. The problem is a generation of young people raised in fatherless homes and a public school system saturated in a secular worldview. You want to know why young men enter schools and kill little kids? Take a look at the biology textbook that they had in high school. The one that told them that they're nothing but the product of chance, the result of blind evolution. They came from nowhere, they're going to nowhere. There's no one out there calling the shots, no morality that's consistent in time and space. Everyone's on their own to figure it out. You can't even look to your biology to tell you who and what you are. You want to be something else? Fine, go for it. We'll even make it legal for you and promote your choice with a special month of pride. That's what you fill young people's minds with, and you're shocked when they shoot up a school? Having sown the wind, did you not realize you'd reap the whirlwind? I want to end with this challenge that I said at the outset of part 1 would be shocking were it not for the setup. And here it is. Evolution is treated by the public school system across our nation, not as a theory, but as fact. Attempts by advocates of intelligent design to provide an alternative to atheistic evolution using, may I say, a huge body of excellent evidence have been categorically shut down. And as all of us have been taught, the mechanism that advances evolution is called survival of the fittest. The most fit survive. The unfit die off. As far as we might assign labels like good and bad to the amoral realm of nature, isn't human evolution advantaged by things like war and starvation and oppression? After all, those in a position to win and dominate must be more fit, right? Survival of the fittest. The most fit survive. They are more worthy to pass on their genetics by virtue of the fact they won. Isn't the atheist evolutionist required to applaud war and atrocities because it serves to clear the field of the less fit? removing them from the gene pool, leaving just the more fit to survive? I know this is a shocking proposal, and when I've posed it to diehard secularists, who of course all accept evolution as fact, they dismiss it out of hand, saying that I'm being ridiculous. But when I ask them to explain where the logic is faulty, no one has been able to give me an answer. The typical response is, well, that's just ridiculous. Everyone knows that those things are bad. And there's the Judeo-Christian worldview gotcha that secularism just can't handle. How does everyone know that war, starvation, oppression, and atrocities like shooting up a school or a mall or a church are bad? From whence cometh this collective sense that some things are categorically right and others are categorically wrong? No evolutionary scenario could ever account for the innate human sense of morality. Deep down, we all know what's right and what's wrong. Those ultra-few sociopaths whose moral sense is broken, they stand out as notable exceptions that we can point to and say they don't prove morality is relative and subjective. On the contrary, that we all recognize something is profoundly wrong, something fundamentally broken in the sociopaths, serves to reinforce the existence of an inner moral compass steering us back to the realization that we are indeed created in God's image. As secularism moves to secure its territory, dominating more and more of society, it's incumbent on Christians to cling ever tighter to a biblical worldview, to learn to evaluate things from a thoroughgoing biblical perspective. That's what we're about here on Short Takes and the Into His Image YouTube channel. I would ask that if you find this helpful, please like, subscribe, and tell a friend.